I think it's 10:30. Good morning, sugar loafers. Good morning. Welcome again. This is our, I think we started these presentations somewhere around 1986 or 87. So, is there anyone in here that has missed even one of them? Anyway, we're going to try to keep it to an hour or less. I know we've got a lot of folks standing up in the back. It's great to see so many people here. Hopefully you're going to enjoy our presentation. We're going to start out. Brad Larson's going to take you through what we're doing in sales and marketing. And then Crusher and I are going to jump in and talk about what we've done last year and what we've done this summer and what we're thinking about going forward. And then we have a couple of other short presentations as well. So with that, Brad, would you come up, please?
So much for applause. If you don't know me, my name's Brad. I run the sales and marketing team. Just want to go over a couple quick slides on business levels.
Oh. Why didn't you guys tell me? This is really, usually only half the people can see half the stuff. This is great.
You do some shadow puppets for us while you're up there. So anyways, last season, great season for us. Up 25% in skier visits. I mean, if you think of any business that's up 25%, that's pretty massive. Obviously the year prior was tough, but up 17% over our 3-year average is pretty impressive. One of the things I talked about last year was our efforts up in Quebec. Skier visits up 25%, but Quebec visitation up 73%. So we're really proud of that. So we'll be back up there this year in French as well. So, ticket yield up 8%. Lodging average daily rate up $17 per room night, which is really impressive. Season passes. As we're going into our season pass deadline, there's a lot of fluctuation, but as of 10 days ago, we were up 23% in season pass revenue, which is good news for you guys, because that means lift lines will be 23% longer next year. If you didn't hear the news, Sugarloaf was ranked number 2 in the East by Ski Magazine, which was really impressive. So a lot of the good work and investment is paying off.
Did any of you folks out there, I'm sure there's a lot of you that subscribe to Ski, but did anyone fill out that survey that got us to number 2? Thank you very much. For all of you, remember there's going to be another one this winter. So jump in.
If we all fill it out, we'll get to be number 1.
He filled out 400 of them. You know, summer, again, a positive summer here. Golf rounds up about 8%. The town and Sugarloaf have combined to try and invite entrepreneurs to the region, and we started a summer events marketing grant where both Sugarloaf and the town throws in money, and when third-party entrepreneurs want to come here, we actually fund some of their marketing efforts. So we had our first success this year with the Untamed Adventure race, which brought about 150 people here from around the United States for a 24-hour adventure race. So that was positive, and thanks to the town for supporting that. The American Junior Golf Association is a national a golf program for the best junior golfers in the United States, and families from across the country came here. Good impact, over 400 room nights, over 20,000 in food and beverage spend. So that was positive, and just exposure to some of America's great young golfers. And if you're not familiar with it, we sort of rebranded the activity center in the village. It's now called the Outpost. This year it was open more days, offering more services, stand-up paddle boards, off-road Segway tours, canoes, kayaks. Our zip lines were sold out of there. Did about $30,000 more in revenue, which isn't a big number, but that's up about 40% over the prior year. So a lot more activity on the mountain this summer. So this is kind of cool. Papal Conclave, 2005, Pope Benedict XVI. 2005. 2013, same place, same location, Papal Conclave. Well, the world has really changed, right? I mean, all of us have a mobile device. So mobile growth at Sugarloaf has been really impressive. 2011, about 6% of our visitation to our website was coming from mobile devices, up 13%. Last year, 25% of all of our visitation to our website was coming from phones or iPads, which is really impressive. Some other cool stats that are happening, skiers are active and affluent, so 80% of our guests have some sort of mobile device. And of that, when we send an email to somebody, if they're on the mountain, 55% of those emails are opened while they're here, which is really incredible. So if you haven't noticed, you may not have noticed, but Chivalrous has a brand new website, but it incorporates something called responsive design. So what responsive design is it's a single website. It works on your desktop, works on your tablet, and it works on your phone. And if you don't notice anything, that's great because it's just working. But it automatically resizes to whatever device that you're using. So we used to have multiple sites. You probably don't know this, but we had sugarloaf.com, and then we had m.sugarloaf, which is our mobile site. So we had to be updating multiple sites all the time. Now we update one site, it's disseminated to all the devices, and it works really well. Another thing that works is our emails. Sugarloaf's a leader in the ski industry this year. All of our emails are, again, designed responsively, so they will resize to fit your Samsung or your iPhone, any Android device. And it's pretty tricky, but we've gotten it to work. So, when you're reading your emails on the Super Quad, or in the lift line that's 23% longer this year, hopefully it'll look good. Now, I talked a little bit about this last year, and I know a lot of you have these. I've been in some of your condos, and you guys still have this kind of phone. So if you're still using this phone, you can just take a little nap right now. But I want to talk to you a little bit about in-resort communications. These are two of our building banners that you see in the village. And if you don't know what a hashtag is, that's that number sign, Seth 2014, or number sign, the loaf. But when people are using Twitter or Instagram or Facebook and they're talking about their experience at Sugarloaf, we're coaching them on what to say. So when they add a hashtag into their communication, it adds context to what they're talking about. It automatically creates a link, and anyone who clicks on that can read all the tweets or all the messages that people are talking about on resort with that subject. So we're coaching our customers on how to talk about us while they're here. So one of the things we want people to be talking about this year is the Surgery to Sochi video series. It's a 5-part series that our new videographer is working on, and it's about Seth's recovery from his injury in Alaska last year, leading all the way up until he's in the gate at Sochi. So this is going to be really cool. This is going to debut in December. A teaser will be out here shortly, so I hope you guys like it, and hopefully there'll be a lot of chatter around it. But when people are on their phones and using those hashtags, it all flows into this. This is called the Blue Room. We debuted this last year, and it's a social media aggregator. It's like a dashboard for everything that people are talking about with regards to Sugarloaf. So if you're on Twitter, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you put a message, say hashtag the loaf, it's going to flow into this, and this is a dashboard where anyone can see everything that's being talked about with regards to Sugarloaf on the web. Okay. So if you have one of those rotary phones, you can wake up now. I know you're excited, you want to start using hashtags, and getting on Twitter and opening up that Instagram account, but you don't want to give up that rotary phone, so luckily, the Downhill Supply Company is selling the new iPhone with a rotary display for you for just $499. But you do get point rewards, so stop up there and get one. So that's it for me, and here's John.
I've still got one of those phones. Okay, I'm going to take a couple of minutes and just sort of review what we did last year. And I think as I go through this, we'll just break it down real quickly, but the 200 HKD guns last year obviously had a huge impact. You saw it, we obviously got snow early last year, so we had a great Christmas with everything open basically, but those guns, we had like 150 of those guns running at once right after Thanksgiving, and it was, that's almost twice as many as we ever were able to do before. Pressure's going to get up here in a few minutes and talk about this year as well. Food and beverage, we took over the BCG piece this past year after 25 years of partnering with them. Huge improvement for us. The Downhill Supply Company, obviously a big change. By the way, This is one of the new shirts they sell. Just thought I'd wear it today. I think there's just a few more available up there. Net Promoter. This is something we internally are really proud of. It's actually a guest service survey that's done throughout the resort. Day skiers can fill it out. Overnight folks can fill it out, and you folks can fill it out. Hopefully a lot of you do. But we scored the highest in guest service this past year of all 10 Boyne resorts, which isn't all that unusual. Even in the American ski world, back in the old days, we were always right up there along with Steamboat. So I actually received a trophy this spring at Big Sky at our annual management meetings, and representing obviously Sugarloaf, and it was pretty nice. And we're pushing to get that score even up higher next year. Bracket Basin, obviously, really, unfortunately for you know, those kinds of areas, we need natural snow, but look at the difference between 2 years ago and last year. And I'm just going to take you through a few of these. The big change, hopefully you all got to 45 North last year, but if you hadn't, I mean, the service, the quality of food, really outstanding. And the chef whispered in my ear yesterday, for any of you that like foie gras, he's got a little bit as a special this weekend, so you might want to get in there. And here's some of the changes from one year to the next. There's the old double diamond. We had the Boyne design folks from Michigan help us with the colors and the facades. Bracket Basin, we're up to 500 acres now, and Christian will talk a little more about what we've done this summer. The irrigation system, $1.5 million that we partnered with the town on, is all completed, and it's really helped the quality of the golf course. For all you golfers, if you haven't got out there yet, it's the best that course has been shaped in many, many, many years. It really did need the water. Our rounds are up over 14,000 this year, which is about 1,500 better than the year before, so we're going in the right direction there. Now I'm going to ask you to come up. We're going to take you through the things that we've done this summer. Talk about that a little bit, but before we get started on that, I'd like to ask Lloyd Cutler to come up for a minute. Everyone knows Lloyd, right?
Thanks, John. As you see, Geppetto's is up 87% last year, with 28% more chicken fingers. I never thought I'd be up here. 37 years. Been a long time. Thank you, and you're the reason. It was a hard decision. It's been going on for a few years now. I've had quite a few offers, and quite frankly, some of you, probably most of you probably know that I moved the building up in 1976 from the Valley and basically sold Geppetto's to myself. When I did that, I can't believe I thought about this, but I kept the land in the courtyard, which I always knew I owned, and Geppetto's was pretty much unrestricted. It had no restriction as to what it could be. So as these offers started to come in, not that there was billions of them, but Warren Buffett and those people, I started to think about, you know, one of the big questions I got when people heard that I was selling was, where are you going? And I said, nowhere. This is where I live. I'm going to the other side of the bar. And that's about it. So my heart is here, like your heart is here, which is why you're here. And I realized that Sugarloaf was really the only person I could sell to that would respect Sugarloaf and that would not sacrifice Sugarloaf for business. So I approached the mountain, and I do want to make that clear. I approached the mountain with a gun and said, listen, here's the deal. And we talked, it's been very non-confrontational. Bob Turner, who most of you will remember, is back with Boyne, and Bob and I pretty much negotiated with John in the background, and that's how it came to be.
What negotiation? We gave you exactly what you wanted.
I'm Jewish, John. My father taught me well. right from the beginning said, look, we want to keep this the same. A lot of this has to do with why you confronted us, but we really want to keep this the same as much as we can. I don't see John being me, and I definitely don't see Crusher being Tiger. So it's going to change a little. I mean, I'll be realistic that way. The good news is Jenny is staying as general manager. Most of the help is all staying. That's been great for me, to be honest with you. You know, at this point, I'd say almost 90% of the help is staying. And like I said, I'm going to the other side of the bar, so that'll be fun. I get to ski. I heard the lifts run in the afternoon. I never knew that, so now I get to ski in the afternoon. Anyway, I guess I'm just saying thank you to all of you for everything, and I look forward to skiing with you. Thanks.
And we really are. We are going to do everything we can to make sure it doesn't change. It's Geppetto's is Geppetto's. It's a piece of us, piece of the resort. So good luck in your future skiing, Lloyd. All right, I'm just going to take you through a few things, and Crusher's going to jump in here. Obviously, if you haven't been up to the main area yet, the base area, we finished painting the village center, and as you can see, we tried to coordinate the paint, if you will, with the brick hotel. Also, a new spa. We've got a 45 to 50 person new spa / pool going in. That's a better one. This is a more finished picture. That's what you'll see today. It's not finished. We've got about 3 more weeks worth of work to do on it, but I think it's really going to take the hotel to another level. Bracket Basin. Chris will talk a little more about that, but we've continued working on this summer. And this is a little bit hard to see. Sorry that it isn't bigger, but we've gone over on West Mountain. The concept we started last year. We've scalloped West Mountain in little pieces, and we're going to actually widen the existing trail back to what it originally was, which is about 20 feet wider. The idea here is we've got that lift over there that runs every weekend and holiday, and it doesn't get a lot of usage as well as the trail itself. Our main artery for snowmaking goes right up that trail, so it's basically live all the time for snowmaking. So the concept here is to try to move a lot of the racing programs during the weekends and holidays over into this area. We think it's a win-win for all you folks. But I think it's a win-win for us too, because there's nothing worse for a ski area manager to go over and look at a lift that's running around and around, and there's only 6 people on it. So I think that's going to really change the dynamics of that whole area, and it's great for the folks over in West Mountain as well. Because I was going to kind of give it to them one of these days. I'm just kidding. And this isn't a very good picture, but if you look just up between those poles, you can see some of the scalloping, and we've got an excavator up there started just this past week that's going to stump it. Crusher, you jump in here. These are the new guns that we've gotten this year.
Well, we had such good luck with the guns last year, energy savings and snow quality. We jumped in and we got some more this year. We're at about 350 right now of the latest generation. We still have 150 of the old generation, the first generation of the low E's out there too. We got rid of the inefficient guns on a lot of the trails, put the new generation on the more important bread and butter trails, and then move the other ones out to some other trails too. So we're going to move really quick this year. He won't let me touch the computer. Okay, remember a few weekends you'd get off a Skyline, there'd be a snowcat sitting there. And I did catch a few people in it. Sharing cigarettes. Yeah, there's those little huts everywhere. They thought that was like part of the system. Anyway, we built a wind fence. We kind of wrapped the top there, and so you won't have to dodge a snowcat when you get off the top of the top of Skyline. And obviously we didn't fix the roof yet that blew off last year, but that will happen before we get open. And you can see the ramp's gone. We built the area at the bottom of the ramp. We brought it up about 3 feet. And so we can maintain that area a lot better now, so it won't be a surprise, you know, when you get down there, freak a lot of people out. And the other problem we were having there was snowboarders. We're having issues there because you got to turn that board and stand up. So we're going to move where you stand up downhill a little bit.
Good.
What if we just don't let them ride the lift?
Okay, we know what generation you're from. Speaking of that, speaking of generation, I think this room can appreciate this. The other day, some people were asking for some stats on snowfall for the last 15 or 20 years. And Ethan Austin called me up and he said, geez, those 3 years in the 90s really stick out. You know, they were well over 300. I was like, well, you know, that was the last 3 years Chip Carey was here. It really stuck out. And Ethan's been accused of being too conservative, so I guess that's a good problem to have. Gandhi line. We got out there and took the rocks out. We're hoping to speed snowmaking up on that trail. Literally cut it by a third, cut it to a third of what we used to do. There used to be some 5-6 foot holes in there. Got up there, smooth that out. If you look up it when you leave here, you can, if the fog lifts, you can see it's all revegetated already. We did this back in June. Got it all hayed and seed. And then we lined it with brand new HKD guns the whole way. So she's gonna go quick. There's no more setup. Deanie Barker won't be sliding around out there with his crew setting guns up anymore. We cut a glade east of Gandhi Line. Even John Diller says he's going to ski this year. It's nice and wide open.
That's not exactly what you said was you're going to be able to ski it.
That's right.
I mean,
As you can see, it's really wide open. There's 50, 60 feet between the trees.
we kind of played around with, should we widen the trail itself? Because we put all new snowmaking pipe on that trail, and essentially we should be able to light that whole trail up now instead of just doing sections all the way down. So we were thinking, well, if we put all this money into the pipe, you know, $250,000 worth of pipe, should we just widen it and create more acreage? And we just figured, you know, widening that thing, well, I was going to do it, they talked me out of it. So that's why we've sort of scalloped it with these blades. I think that's going to, it certainly looks a lot better. I think it's going to ski a lot better as well.
It would have looked like Sunday River.
Everyone's favorite.
Oh, listen.
All right, up top, we had some vandalism up there. There was roughly 80 windows. There was about 3 or 4 left when somebody got done practicing their pitching arm this summer. So anyway, we don't know what we want to do with this building yet, but we've secured it. We stained it. We're boarding up all the windows, and hopefully someday we'll do something with it, whether it's tear it down or revive it. We're not sure yet. We're kind of on the fence on that. These are my new radiators. I'm really proud of these. Probably nobody will ever go over and see them, but they're over at the maintenance garage, and these actually cool the air compressors for snowmaking. And our old ones were, a couple of them were actually hand-me-downs from ASC days from Sugar Bush. So we've been raising our arm on that one for years on the capital list, saying we got to get this done, because when they give out, we're done making snow. So we got to install those. They're going to make a big difference efficiency-wise too. There's a lot less electricity to work there, but I know nobody gets excited about this stuff.
Yeah, this isn't very sexy.
Love it.
Okay, out on the back side on the terrain that some people decided to cut about 10, 15 years ago, we finally own it. So we're moving our boundary down. I call it the gold medal glade. I caught somebody back there way back when cutting. Before the land acquisition for the conservation lands behind the mountain went through, I got hold of Plum Creek, and they actually gave us about 14 acres, and there's about 7 acres that's cut back there that's skiable, so we'll be moving our boundary down there.
So you'll be able to ski into it, and the boundary brings you back out towards Burnt, right?
Yeah, it'll bring it back into Brackett Basin. There's cliffs and stuff back there. I'm sure I'll see everybody back there. Want to talk about this?
Now, while we've got this one, this is pretty neat. The Trust for Public Lands has, this has been going on for a couple of years. Dave Cota from the town's been working with them. We certainly were supportive of it, but they've acquired roughly 12,000 acres, 3/4 of which is in our township. And basically this makes all this land forever wild for both conservation and recreation. Snowmobiling, hunting, fishing, hiking, all that sort of thing is going to be available to you forever. So I think that's a great move. I think it was about Dave, it was about a $12 million, not when it was all done? $10 million, yeah. Unbelievable. And we really, with Kathy Witherspoon, we've really put some emphasis back into the kids programs. This is basically just a rendering, but we're revamping the Children's Center downstairs in the base lodge as one piece. I mean, we recognize the importance of young kids and getting them into our sport, right? Here's another rendering of what we're going to be doing. And Danny got in, this is Moose Alley, we got in there and redid all the trail work in there. It's going to be much nicer. And we're adding a couple more features inside. Danny Barkis with the blue hat there. That's going to be kind of a tunnel that the kids can ski through. And we've added a bear's den, and I'm not sure what else over there, but it's going to be kind of fun for the kids. We're probably going to do some kind of a fire pit over there as well. On certain days, the kids can go over and either do hot dogs or marshmallows or what's that other thing? S'mores. And I got to talk about this one. I'm a little bit prejudiced, but Claudia Dilla and Marcia White put this together. I've been kind of pushing them on this for about 3 years. I felt we really needed to take advantage of the mascot and get a book done. And it really turned out when they were all done, Claudia did a great job with the art, and Marcia did a great job with the story. But the story is really, it's something you're all going to want to read. It isn't just for kids. And in each picture, if you look, there's a sugarloaf triangle somewhere in there. Some of them took me 10 or 15 minutes to find. But, I mean, that's the kind of stuff she did. So these are going to be available for sale. As a matter of fact, Claudia's doing a book signing from 2 to 4 today at the ski shop. And with that, I'm going to ask Kate to come up.
Thanks, John. Hey, everyone. I'm Kate Punderson, head of school at Carabasset Valley Academy. And I first want to thank John for allowing me to speak to you today and tell you what's new with the Academy. Before I talk about what's new, though, I want to acknowledge that it is an Olympic year, and Olympic years are really special down at CVA. We've got several hometown heroes to cheer for going into this Sochi Olympics. Jeremy Cota, Dave DeGravio, Alex Tuttle, Seth Westcott, Bodie Miller, and Emily Cook. We'll all be shooting for the team and also going for the gold, so we'll all be cheering them on. Okay. So this first slide shows the newest addition to CVA's Environment of Excellence. At CVA, you know that we strive for excellence in everything we do, and now we have academic facilities to match that. They're purpose-built, and they really are motivating and inspiring our students and our teachers. It's 17,000 square feet, and it's connected to the dormitory that we opened in 2007. It's a $3 million building, state-of-the-art facility, built by local contractors, and affords great views of Sugarloaf and the Bigelow Range. It has 2 science labs. Each science lab is 850 square feet and contains separate desk and lab space. This year also we joined with many other Maine schools in the one-to-one iPad program. So every student, teacher, and coach at CVA this year is equipped with an iPad to enhance their learning experience, not only in the classrooms but on the Hill. Out there on the Hill this year, you are going to see coaches with iPad minis. They'll be filming the athletes as they're training, whether it's on the race course or in the parks. And then right at the end, they'll be reviewing the video right there on Hill with their athletes. So it's pretty cool. And it puts CVA right at the forefront of technology on the Hill and in the classroom as well. So in addition to the 2 science labs, there are 10 other classrooms. There's also a dedicated art room, 750 square foot art room, and a dedicated music studio as well. So arts and music are integrated right into the daily program. We find those to be just as important as our core curriculum in math and science and English and history. We also, if you're able to visit, I'll talk about a community open house this afternoon. If you are able to come down, you'll see that we have fully landscaped the whole new campus with expansive lawns and patios and garden areas as well. This is a picture taken last year of our Alpine weekend program. One significant change is that we've changed the name of our junior program from SCVA to the CVA weekend program. And this was done over the summer with the full support of Sugarloaf. The program hasn't changed. It's still a partnership between CVA and Sugarloaf. But we've changed the name to the CVA weekend program to more closely tie it to the CVA brand. We've also changed the registration and the administration, the back office of the program, to CVA instead of Sugarloaf. So registering for the program happens through the CVA website or down at the CVA campus instead of Perfect Turn. And we think we're going to be able to better service our customers with that quick change. So like I said, this afternoon we're having a community open house. The opening of our academic center this fall really marks a very significant time in CVA's history in our 31st year. It marks an almost complete move to our new campus location, our King Cummings campus off the access roads. We're inviting all the community down to help us celebrate. So the open house is happening today from 3 to 6. For the open house, we're going to have children's activities, demonstrations from our teachers. All of our athletic program directors will be there and full tours of the facility, snacks, the whole thing. And then at 4:30, there will be a short ceremony marking the celebration of the opening of the center. So there'll be some important people there. And we hope all of you will come down and see what we have to offer there. And the last thing is this afternoon at that 4:30 celebration, Seth Westcott will be a part of the activities down there, and he's going to announce a new partnership between CVA and Llb. This came about this summer. I'm really excited about it. Bringing these two brands together, both CVA and Llb, promoting Maine, promoting outdoor sports and health and recreation for our young people, also promoting quality. It's really going to be exciting. The Llb bootmobile will be on campus this afternoon. They're bringing the bootmobile up with some representatives from Llb, and we're going to officially announce the program. So you're going to see all our coaches on the Hill this year, head to toe in Llb, and so we're really excited about that. So thank you again. You know, CVA raises future Sugarloafers. We couldn't do it without the support of John and everyone at Sugarloaf and all of your support. So thank you so much.
And now somewhere out there is Bruce Miles. Hi. Hey.
I have three quick things that I'm going to talk to you about today. The first is this year is the 14th annual Sugarloaf Charity Summit. The date, which you'll want to save, is January 25th It's a Saturday. We have some save the date cards telling you about all the facets of the program. The event raises money for the Maine Cancer Foundation and the Martha B. Weber Breast Care Center, which is located at Franklin Hospital here in Farmington. Last year, we ended up raising over $186,000, and over the 13 years, the total's been over $1.6 million. And we couldn't do this without the support of the Sugarloaf Mountain Corporation and also all of you Sugarloafers that have been involved in it. Over 300 people come to the charity ball every year and participate in the silent auction, the live auction, and a lot of people donate some very good items, very valuable items like their summer homes on islands and other things like that that people can use and bid on. So this year, the summit's going to get kicked off December 30th at the Carrabassett Valley Outdoor Center with the Summit Snowshoe Shuffle, which is going to be a fun snowshoe or walk race event, sort of like the Susan G. Komen walk that you all know about that happens in Portland. So that's going to be December 30th, so that'll be a lot of fun. You can get involved by becoming a loafer for a cure if you want. Last year, the loafers raised collectively over $32,000, and some of them also earned some prizes for doing so, up to a $500 gift certificate at Downhill Supply. You can donate an auction item for the live or silent auctions, or you can buy a raffle ticket and chance to win a 2-year Alpine and Nordic Sugarloaf season pass. Volunteers are also needed, so sign up. There's information at sugarloaf.com/charity. So thank you. Second thing, I got to get 3 hats. The next thing I want to talk about is the Ski Museum of Maine, which is kind of another baby of the Sugarloaf Ski Club that was incorporated in 1995 through the efforts of Don Fletcher, Don Hayes, and Greg Foster. Our home, thanks to Sugarloaf, has been down at the 2nd floor of the Sugarloaf Sports Outlet. And we're continuing to grow members. Our membership is up over 350 now, and also grow the number of artifacts that we have there. If any, our biggest collection, obviously, is Sugarloaf, because Sugarloaf seems to be the place in Maine that has the most affection for history, I guess, in the ski world. So anyway, we have a lot of events going on. One big one is coming up in 2 weeks, which is the Maine Ski Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And this year, 3 Sugarloafers are among the 8 inductees. And the 3 are Gail Blackburn, young racer that came up through Sugarloaf; Will Farnham, who was a ski patrol volunteer for many, many years. He was chief of course safety at our World Cup we had in '71. And the late Rand Stoll, who was one of the founders of Sugarloaf. There's also there's room to sign up if people want to come. It's at Lost Valley. If you go to the skimuseumofmaine.org website, you can get more information in the form, reservation form. There's still seats available. A new event this year is going to happen at Morong, Falmouth. Sugarloaf Ski Club members Bill and Peter Souls own a car dealership down in Falmouth, and we're going to have an evening event there. It's going to be a premiere of the latest Fireside Chat series, which is the history of skiing and snowboarding competition in Maine. And that will be going on, plus we'll have a program of other things happening. And also Peter and Bill are going to open up they have a museum room of vintage cars that they've collected over the years, which they're going to open that up to the public to be able to see that. And we have a historical display up in the base lodge, and welcome anyone to come by. We've got some great old film footage of Sugarloaf back in the 50s playing on this big screen there. So that's it for the museum. Then last but certainly not least, the Chivalrous Ski Club. And before I talk about the Chivalrous Ski Club, which is near and dear to my heart, being president and longtime member, I want to thank Lloyd. Geppetto's has been a huge supporter of the Chivalrous Ski Club over the years. I've never ever had Lloyd or Jenny or Tiger say no whenever I've asked them, and as you all know, I do a lot of asking around. So anyway, Lloyd, you're going to be missed, but I do expect you to keep donating. By the year, you're not going to be leaving. I'll come up behind you at the other side of the bar. So, but anyway, I'm very confident that Sugarloaf will continue the traditions that Geppetto's has. So, people are always asking, what does the club do? Well, we have 4 areas of focus now. We have the community scholarship area, which right now, yesterday I was processing 47 applications for scholarships for everything from Punch Pass, Bubble Cuffer, Mini Cuffer, CVA weekend program, CVA. We'll be giving out, giving out almost probably $27,000 this year. $10,000 of that is money that's entrusted to us by the town of Carrabasset Valley to give out to scholarships for our area residents here, for kids. So that's the community scholarship part. We also have a social. We have a lot of social events. We're having one tonight. Unfortunately sold out. Fortunately for me, it's sold out. But that's going on at the Outdoor Center. It's an Oktoberfest meal that Alfred put together for us, Alfred Oberlichner. So we have a lot of those events throughout the year. Tuesday socials. We have the March 29th is the annual Snowball. We'll have the Retro Rockers back again. The Retro Rockers band. Anybody here from the band? Yeah, there you go. Yes. So the competition, we support the competition programs very heavily. One of the slides that Kate put up was the Gene Luce building with all those kids on the deck. Ski Club built that building, okay? Everybody knows that. And it was a huge undertaking. It was a $120,000 project that the mountain did participate in it, but the bulk of the money came from funds being raised by the Ski Club and also a contribution that I stood up and took a beating for a town meeting to ask the town to help out. But anyway, we do support them heavily, the competition programs. And then the historical. We're the keepers of the flame, so to speak, for the mountain. And I want to show you an example of one of our latest things that we're doing for historical. Back in 1999, the mountain decided to have an Ironman award. Paul Schipper was a ski club member. You always saw him with his pin on whenever you saw a picture of him. Well, it's been going on, and when we had our 60th birthday, I wanted to put something in a magazine about it, and I was having a hard time finding out who all the people were that had earned this award, the Ironman award. So I got the idea of the club got this plaque made up, and it's got the list on it of all of the Ironman recipients. And it's the big thing that I like about it is probably 80% of them are ski club members. I'd like that to be 100%, but about 80% of them are ski club members. So that's on display up at the base lodge where the ski club has a desk set up right now. So thank you all for your attention. Have a great year.
Pretty long-winded, huh? All right, I think we're doing pretty well on time. Just want to, while we've got you all here, just want to throw out 3 or 4 things that we're talking about going forward, the future. First one, lifts. Right now, what we have for priority on lifts is replacing King Pine with probably more of a skyline lift, in other words, a faster lift, but a heavier chair that will run the wind. We'd probably realign it so the whole lift would be on the right side of the mountain looking up so that we don't need to worry about putting guns way out in the middle of the trail. We could actually line up the new HKD guns just right to the left of the new lift. It obviously would be faster than what we've got now, but the big thing is to try to get it so it'll run more often on those windy days. Crusher, you remember how many actual days we were down this past year on Skyline because of wind? 3 days. Wow. I mean, think of where we've gone. So that's huge. Obviously the wind fence, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it does work. Number 2, one of the things that we've been contemplating, we've been talking about this forever, but Crusher and I and actually Brad, we went over to Mount Washington a few weeks ago and took the auto route. I'd never done that before, and the idea here is we've had a road to the top of Sugarloaf forever, but it's really it's too steep unless you're really in 4-wheel drive and you got trucks and so on and so forth. But we're kind of we've got an engineer actually looking at what would it take to create some sway backs and so forth and create a real visual road that maybe do it 2 phases. The first phase would maybe get you to Bullwinkles. I think it would open up a whole world for us in terms of weddings and that sort of thing in the summer. But then being able to get to the top. Hazen McMullen told me way back in the 70s when I first got here that when the telephone company built that road, they actually built it for us when they were building the radio building up top. He said it was so good that first year that actually if somebody drove a Volkswagen up there, one of the old bugs. So, that kind of stuff can be done. Now, we haven't got a clue yet whether we're talking about a $500,000 project or a $5 million project, but it's something we're going to look at for the future. And the third thing that we didn't get done this summer, but we really we're really trying to focus. Obviously, I've talked a lot over the last 2 or 3 years about doing more in the village. I mean, we've got an old village. It's the old board and batten. It's the 70s. But Main Street, what we call Main Street, is still, it's crowded with buses. It's crowded with all kinds of vehicles. We're really trying to come up with a way to maybe have 2 different bus shuttle systems working where, for instance, the mountain buses, the ones that actually support all the parking lots, would maybe come up, we'd build a new circle up behind the hotel so that we could drive people up in there, let them off right by the ticket in the base lodge, and they can do whatever they need to do there. And maybe the condominium, I call them the condominium shuttles, maybe they would come up and drop everyone off between the Super Quad and Village West. There is room in there to be able to turn around and really try to keep all the buses out of Main Street. Does that seem like a good idea to everyone? I mean, it's a smelly, noisy, I mean, it's not an easy fix because we still got to deal with all the vendors. We've got to get all the food and beverage into all those restaurants, but maybe we can do that early in the morning or evening. But those are kind of 3 things that we've sort of got off the docket. Yeah, I think the auto route's kind of out there. It's but we want to be thinking ahead. Summers, we've gotten the programs this summer with Tom Butler heading. We've added 2 or 3 more pieces of the weekend activities, and boy, some of the weekends up here this summer have been like today. I mean, hundreds of people literally up in there around the village. So we're going to keep working on that. We want to keep improving summer. I mean, just so you know, and this is fairly typical in the ski resort, from May 1st to the end of October, we basically are in the red about $500,000 a month. That's what it takes to run a resort and keep people hired, keep people working to maintain the lifts and do all the things that we need to do in the summer. But the more we can soften that, obviously, in the summer by creating more revenues and more activities, obviously, the better off we're going to do. And I can tell you, I'm just going to leave you this one last thing. We're going in now to the 6th year with the Boyne folks, and I can tell you, I've been very fortunate in that I feel like I've always worked for really good people. But this family, they're great. I mean, you should be very thankful and very happy that we ended up with this family has never taken a penny from the Sugarloaf pot, and they just keep putting it in, and they don't even own it. They're leasing it. C&L is the REIT that owns it. Stephen is so excited about Sugarloaf. He and his brother, this is their favorite Eastern resort. They're both real skiers. They love the place. And if he had his way, he'd be putting even more lifts in. But obviously, we got to make it work from a financial standpoint. So I'm going to leave it at that. But have we got a few more minutes? Probably you guys in the back are anxious to get out of here. But maybe just comments, questions, something we haven't covered, or other ideas. We can take just a few minutes, and maybe we don't have any.
I have a comment, question. Are you going to do any cutting in the new property on the backside, out by the salsa shack?
It's already cut.
It's all cut. Thank you.
Yeah, and it wasn't us.
That's kind.
Yes, sir.
John, I just want to say that with the new Skyline chair, and you talked about how many days it was just down, the feeder system that you guys put together, having 2 sides come into an alley to go in there, to me it worked perfectly because you didn't have people backed up, you couldn't go anywhere. But that new feeder system has worked very, very well.
Good.
Hey, John, you guys give any thought to putting any pommeless over in Brackett? Is that a realistic kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about what eventually is Brackett and Burnt going to really look like. And, I've always sort of thrown in, a T-bar. Just because to me, it kind of fits that out of, you know, that's kind of my thought. When's it going to happen? I don't know. It's a ways away because the infrastructure, you get power over there. Got to go through a whole another DEP permitting program, but yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. Yes, sir.
Any for summer, bringing summer to life up here? We've got all these wonderful activities that are developing on Mount. Have they ever found or decided to work on a way to bring that incredible lake into the picture to get people up here? Flagstaff Lake is incredible, and it's underutilized.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if you know, but we do have we have the RCI group out of the hotel. It's weekly exchanges, and I think we're doing it once a week. We're doing the trips on the lake.
Well, he does the tours, and we also rent kayaks and paddle boards, and we send people up there.
Good. I mean, we could take it much further, but we have gotten started. Yes, sir.
Any issues keeping the AT&T cell service on the mountains this year?
Boy, I can't answer that personally.
They did install a small tower at the maintenance garage. I'm Sprint, so I don't know how it works.
But that was the effort, is to obviously to make it better.
Yeah, they tried to address it.
Okay, I think we're all set. Oh, yes, sir.
A question on what do you call it? Internet service or whatever, you know, hi-fi. Did I ever think about doing a whole mountain?
Yeah, that came up this morning at the president's meeting. That question was asked, and I think Lynn was the one that was really answering it. Our IT people are looking at it. You know, technology, as Brad explained earlier, for us old folks, I mean, technology is just changing so fast, but it's going to happen. Just when, I don't know. It's a matter of price and how we spread it across the resort. But we know it's important to you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, are there any plans to extend the Timberline lift down to Bullwinkle's?
I missed a piece of that, but I think you asked about the lift, extending it?
Yes.
Yeah, we have, as part of the big 2020 thing, we did envision taking the Timberline lift, maybe even taking it out and putting high speed there, but having it start at Bullwinkle's so that you really had a center base area for it. The problem with it is if you put a ruler on a diagram of all the trails in the mountain up there, if you start from Bullwinkle's, you end up kind of where Timberline ends up now, you go right up over Tote Road. And the worry there is if we're right up over Tote Road, we got an awful lot of space that's going to be prone to wind. Now, out there in the real world, there are places where they are actually turning. You can turn a lift, believe it or not, with the right kind of bull wheel. It's a lot more money, but that's probably the only way we're ever going to be able to do that and avoid all that wind, is to have a more expensive detached lift that has the ability to turn 15, 20 degrees there somewhere. But it'd be nice. It sure would be nice. Yeah. Yes?
Has there been any thought about putting like a little building over maybe at the bottom of King Pine that would have a bathroom and hot tub?
I thought I was going to get away without that one this year. To be candid, we had it on our capital list this past year, and the reason we put it off is because we're still thinking that the ideal would be to put something right there at the top of Whiffletree. That would be not only a bathroom scenario, but some food, not a Bullwinkle's maybe, but something smaller. But we were just nervous that if we were going to go spend $50,000 on bathrooms at the bottom of King Pine, the next thing we'd want to be doing is putting that building. So we're trying to create something where we can get both things working. But I hear you. We all hear you. Yeah, I mean, we know it's important. And you know, if we do put that new lift in, maybe that's the opportunity right there to kind of make that happen as well. Yes, ma'am.
Any thought of replacing Bucksaw?
No, I say no. We're sort of on the, some folks feel that that's like their favorite lift, and I get that, I do. It's still, if we were probably going to do anything, we would move the bottom terminal. We would upgrade it, modernize it, probably move it up the hill about 100 feet. Because ideally, someday, we're going to want to be able to go up the Timbers Road, take a left, and there's a nice straight stretch that takes you east all the way to the super quad, the bottom of the super quad, and it would allow us to do some more parking, some more real estate, maybe some more commercial stuff. And when that happens, obviously we need to move that. But that lift's in pretty good shape. It's a Austrian lift. They built good lifts back then, even though it's a little old. It's the bottom terminal that's really needs an upgrade.
I think the seats need to be improved. Maybe add in something. You know, would that cost that much money to add those seats and make that just a little more comfortable?
Yeah. Okay. No, I hear you. Put that in the list, Crush. No, it's, you know, it is a bit of a redundant lift, but I know folks that they just love it, and but it is kind of redundant when you think about having the super quad there. So
It's good with some windows.
we haven't got any plans of taking it out. We just don't have any plans for totally redoing it. So yes, ma'am.
Yeah, any chances of summertime use of the super quad for mountain biking?
Probably not. And I'm a mountain biker. I really enjoy it, but we tried that one summer years and years ago, and quite frankly, we have people hurt. This mountain there's really no way down through that center part of our mountain that isn't steep. I mean, whether it's chicken pitch or kangaroo, and we just never really felt comfortable that we could create the right kind of a really safe. So we've kind of stayed away from that. But I will tell you, what they've done over at the Outdoor Center in the last 2 years, both the volunteer group and the town and Sugarloaf, it's unbelievable if you haven't gotten over there to see some of that new trails. I don't know how many miles, Dave, how many miles would you say they've
we're up about 20 miles.
Yeah,
we're 4 new miles this year. Pretty extensive program. We're very proud of it, and the town and Sugarloaf have been very supportive of it, along with the local club. And you know, it's a very aggressive program. We hope to continue to move forward with it. I'd say in a couple of years, we will be the biggest mountain bike resort, mountain bike destination in Maine. No question about it. In a couple of years.
And how about alpine slides? Has anybody ever thought of that for summertime recreation?
I mean, the issue with an alpine slide is that we don't have enough people going up and down Route 27. You need an awful lot of folks because it's such a, you know, it's over $1 million investment. It works in places where you got a lot of traffic and a lot of summer business. No, we've got to do the smaller things. Yes, ma'am.
With West Mountain and moving the racers over there, are you planning on blocking it off entirely for the people that live over there?
Yeah, you're not going to be able to use it anymore. Just kidding. No, we're going to. There'll be times when they'll create a fence that'll separate just plain skiers from the racers themselves. They're hoping that they can get at least 2 courses side by side and good portions of that, which means that maybe in places that trail's going to be 1/3 the width that you might have experienced before. But you know, everyone's going to kind of share with it. But no, you're certainly going to have the ability. That's yours.
So, 2 more things. One, are you planning on maybe getting more snowmaking over there earlier in the season? And 2, would the lift maybe be running more during the week at all?
We're going to start with more snowmaking sooner for sure, because that's the only way we're really going to be able to get the racers over there, quite frankly. So yeah, you're going to see snow earlier. You're going to probably see more snow. Will we run the lifts midweek? Probably not. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I wouldn't think this first year at least. I mean, quite frankly, Mike Savage, if he had his druthers, he'd love to see a T-bar to the left as you're looking up the lift, so that the T-bar would just service the race programs. And I think down the road you're going to see it. And I forgot to mention that. The other piece that we're doing, totally spaced it, when we ended up widening that trail this summer, we've added another 100 acres of glades in there. in that triangle. And matter of fact, if it doesn't start really raining and getting wet, the timber harvester guys think they can do another 100 acres. So it's pretty much going to mirror what we did on the right side of the lift last year. So we are the biggest and baddest east of the Mississippi. Okay, I think that's good.